This is a Glass Box Media podcast.
I'm Cassie.
I'm Keegan.
And I'm Christina. And I have something to share with you. First of all, I am that person that keeps BuzzFeed in business. I don't know why. I just will always click on a BuzzFeed article. Mm-hmm. So I sent this to you guys a while back about people shared the pettiest reasons they didn't go on a second date.
Oh, yes.
We love to see it, honestly.
It made me think of, I'm like, did I have some of these? I definitely did. But this number one out the gate, she didn't believe me when I explained how centuries are counted.
Oh my God.
Oh, I would not go on a second date with that person either.
She didn't believe.
What did she think?
Here.
I need more information. I really do. I feel like that's not enough information. What did she think?
He says, I told her that the 19th century is the 1800s, and she asked, how does that even work? So I explained how the years 1 to 100 are the first centuries, and 101 to 200 are the second century, and so on. Her response, nah, you're having me on.
What? What?
Why? Why would
I? For what reason?
For what reason?
Also, how is that not something she picked up in school? Because I remember being very confused by that whenever I was in elementary school, right? Like that wrapping your head around the fact. And also, how does she not realize that she lived through the new millennium, I assume. Right. Although maybe not. Maybe she's fully Gen Z and was born in 2004 or something, Right. But I'm for those of us who lived through the new millennium, 21st century was everywhere. We grew up with 20th century Fox.
Right. Yeah.
Coming up before movies, right?
That's right.
How do you not realize that the 20th century was the 1900s?
Yeah, it's
21st century is now.
And also the bigger thing, like you said, what would be the point of lying about that?
Why would you lie about that?
The guy's okay, well, forget it.
Sure, it's a joke.
Okay.
I don't think I would go on a second date with that person either.
How about this one? I found out she had a fear of spoons, and I couldn't stop asking questions about it.
I feel like I would also ask 100 questions.
He came to pick me up and was wearing a bowler hat and a tie-dye shirt.
Oh, no.
No,
thank you.
I'm sorry.
No.
I had a girlfriend who started dating this guy, and this was in the early 2010s. So I don't know, 2012 or something like that.
Yeah.
And he was a hipster dude. It was peak handlebar mustache time, whenever that was in, everybody was
my favorite.
Drinking craft cocktails and shit. And he had shaved his chest hair into a bow tie.
No, okay. No, absolutely not.
No.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Speaking of hair stuff, my cousin shared this thing. Did you guys know that there's a mullet championship that happens every year in the U.S.?
We
were
unsurprised.
The finalists for this mullet contest. I'll pull it up and show you, Cassie, the hairdresser. Oof. After this. There's some I'm like, that person's hair is in better shape than a lot of people's I know, myself included.
Well, because they care for it tenderly
lovely.
in order for it to grow like that.
Lustrous and shiny. And
they use mane and tail. Shampoo and conditioner.
This one, she kept dragging her heel where she walked. Someone's just dragging their feet.
No, I can't.
And he's like,
well, you know how I feel about slow walkers, and I really feel like that would impede my progress. Yeah. Yes. Oh my God. And what if you were their downstairs neighbor? You're like, are they dragging a body?
Oh,
what are they doing up
just
there?
Shuffling.
No. Shuffling. Mm-mm.
You're words I never want to hear describing a person's walk.
No.
It sounds like a old timey serial killer movie.
Yeah.
Shuffle.
Get a move on.
Yeah. Come on, bruh.
Okay. Let's see. Another one. 30 minutes into our date, this guy asked me what my favorite movie was. So I said, basically anything Tarantino has made.
Yeah.
So Cassie, there you go.
Me.
He then proceeds to go on a rant saying Tarantino's movies were shit.
Okay.
And he asked me how it was possible to like them and then they don't make any sense. And he then said his favorite movies were Kung Fu Panda 1 and 2.
Sir. Sir.
Look,
Sir.
look.
Sir.
I
Honey.
I don't think we
you're
need
not
to
allowed
we
to
don't need
have
to
a
choose
fucking
sides.
debate with we are choosing goddamn sides here.
I love
Keegan,
Kung Fu Panda.
I am coming in
Cassie.
hot. I cannot stop it.
It's coming.
It's coming out. You do not get to debate with me about movies when your favorite movie is a cartoon for children.
Well, okay. To be honest,
you don't.
yeah. I mean, Kung Fu Panda is a very
It's
enjoyable
good.
film.
Okay, it's
actually.
good.
Great,
It's
it's
cute.
fine. It's fine. Here's what I'm saying. You're not a cinephile, is my point, right? Like, you don't get to be like,
It is
hey,
a fun movie, but it's
sure.
not Citizen Kane.
Sure. There's a
Citizen
lot.
Kane's boring though. Hot
Listen. There are a lot of good, enjoyable flicks,
Sure.
right?
Yeah.
But you do not get to debate with me Kung Fu Panda versus Quentin Tarantino because you a dumb.
It's very, very different.
They're
it's like
very
it's not
different.
even the
apples
same-
and
you-
a Toyota.
Yes.
Pickup, right.
Yeah, it's not even comparing different kinds of fruit.
Yeah,
it's just I
what?
and look, Tarantino is not for everyone.
He's not, and I get that.
and
You cannot like him. I agree.
right, and there's a lot that you can debate about
For
his
sure.
movies, you know, and about
Absolutely.
him as a person. There's a ton of stuff to discuss there,
million
and you
things.
don't have to like it. But I'm at such a point where I'm like, as long as it's not talking about like somebody's like human rights or
Sure.
like something of that nature. It's totally okay to just let people like what they like.
For sure.
And like dislike what they
Absolutely.
dislike. And just, you don't need to tear somebody down because they said that they like Quentin Tarantino movies. Just let them
100%.
have that.
I'm not even going to tear you down because you like Kung Fu Panda. I'm not.
Right.
But I'm not. What I'm trying to tell you is that you aren't even. We're not even talking the same
We're not
language.
speaking the
anymore.
same language,
Right.
yeah.
We're not speaking the same language. I 100%. You know we don't yuck yums here.
Uh-huh.
There's a thing that I cannot stand anymore, and that is to be on wedding shaming groups who are so
Superior.
Oh my god. When they, I mean, like literally, one person talks about one slight Disney reference, people are like, idiots, morons. Somebody literally posted the other day that they were like having some Pokemon theme, and people were like, love it, here for it. And I'm like,
No,
everybody was like,
I
this is
really-
great. And I'm like, how are we? What?
I think we need to get to this point where we're like, yeah, we can poke fun at things. We can have
Yes.
strong opinions about what we like or dislike. But at the end of the day, as long as someone's not hurting anybody, like, and we're
Right.
heading into fall. So I feel like this needs to be a disclaimer off the top. Like, let people have their pumpkin spice latte
do it.
without being unnecessarily like aggressively negative about it. You know, like let people, if they're basic, let them be basic. Are they happy? Who fucking cares?
enjoy
Yeah.
your life.
Yeah.
If you want to go to Disney without kids because you enjoy Disney, by
Oh my God.
go
I
enjoy it.
embrace all the ways that I am chuggy.
Oh, I don't care.
Yeah, me too. I'm like,
Chug away.
yeah.
Live,
Choo,
laugh,
choo,
loving
choo.
life. Okay.
Okay, maybe that's too far.
That's too far.
It is too far. It is too far.
Here's my favorite one.
Okay.
And I unfortunately told Eric about this, so now he's been doing this, and
No.
my head's gonna explode.
Oh no.
He kept making car noises. Not the occasional car noise. I'm talking full-blown rally car race noises for at least 40% of the date.
What?
No.
He even made car noises while we were in his car, and it made its own noises.
Why? Why?
Why?
Hate it.
Why? Out of
Exactly.
nowhere for like what? You're in the middle of a conversation. Let me tell you about this really cool place that I'm No.
Oh my god. But yeah, it's just like I'm trying to think though. I don't think I had anything that good for like not wanting a second date with somebody.
Yeah.
It's usually just like you don't click, you don't vibe,
Yeah.
whatever that is.
Yeah.
I mean,
Or
I don't
they
know.
cry.
You had gonna say,
Or
Yeah.
they show
wet
up wet.
for some reason.
Yeah.
Like I think you had some good ones.
Yeah.
Like,
We've all had some good deal breakers in the past. I mean, we definitely have talked a lot about deal breakers. And I think listen, there's a difference between yucking someone's yum
Yeah.
and being like, that's not for me, and just being okay with that's not for
Yeah.
you. I think
and
there's
that's why I
validity.
don't want to go on a second date if somebody's like super enthusiastic about car noises. That's not.
There's someone out there for you, fam. It's just not me. Okay,
It's not me.
It's not me. Yeah, like I think so as well. Like I don't. Again, outside of like major like ideological differences,
Sure.
I don't think that there's anything that I would be like. I wouldn't tear anyone down for anything. I'd just be like, it's not my jam.
Yeah.
But
Don't
you know,
love that.
if you want to shuffle about, that's on you. But I
Sure.
need to get from point A to point B.
Yeah,
ma'am.
I need a good walker.
Yeah, I do. I need a good strong walker, right? Like, it's important to me.
No, posture is
Legs matter.
for me. My posture's so terrible.
Oh man.
And I'm always like, come on, stand up straight. Blah,
Sit
blah,
up
blah,
straight.
blah.
Oh my god, I'm so
But
bad at that.
Oh my god,
I'm literally like readjusting my body right now as we speak.
no. I'm the worst at
awful.
it too. But I don't like seeing it. And just a
slouchy.
I don't like slouchers.
Yeah.
So did you guys hear, I know I talked on this podcast recently about how I started watching Manifest because they had canceled it. And then there was all this like
Sure.
hullabaloo surrounding it.
It just came out. It was on Netflix, right?
Yeah, it was on Netflix.
Because it was on regular. We watched it. Chris and I watched it when like it just first launched. It was like a few years ago.
It feels very NBC-ish. I don't know if that's the network it's on. But
could have been something ABC, NBC. It was one of the top threes. And Chris and I were like, oh, I don't know. Like we got like 2 or 3 episodes and we're like, meh, it's not for me.
I watched
but then,
the first like season and a half and then just it just wasn't interesting enough for me, but it was like it was in that top 10 #1 slot on Netflix for like weeks and weeks. And so when the network announced that it was being canceled, people freaked out and they were like, this is such a bad decision. Like, can't you see like it's so popular, blah, blah, blah. And so recently,
but everybody's like, yeah, but you're watching seasons from like 3 years ago, and now everybody's binging it. Like, suddenly it just
trying to get through it.
Yeah.
And I guess they changed their minds and they're going to save the show.
Netflix is doing it though.
Oh, Netflix.
So it's not going to be on. It's not going to be on network. It's going to be on Netflix. So Netflix, like I guess, bought the rights or whatever. However that happens, and they are going to be producing the show now. But I guess
same thing happened with The Expanse.
Right.
The Expanse was on Sci-Fi.
Yeah. Sci-Fi
and then
does people dirty all the
They
time.
They do.
Sci-fi is the worst.
And why? Because it's like, man, I watched Battlestar Galactica on Sci-Fi. I'm like, you guys get hits every now and again, and The Expanse was one. Like people loved it.
Show, yeah.
And then they canceled it, and then Bezos was like, I was watching that, and so he like bought it.
Wasn't it his son?
I think it was his son. Actually,
his son was like,
his son was like, Dad, I was watching this show, and they took my toy. Can you,
Daddy, will you
do something about
fix it?
this? So Amazon bought the show, and now it's on Amazon, and it's
good for them,
such a good
honestly.
show. Like it is, the Bezos is a monster. But
I wish Bezos was my dad when Firefly got canceled. It was only one episode or one season, and I'm like, that show was fucking good.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
So good. Well, that was like, okay, so Veronica Mars did this too, but so did Firefly. It crowdfunded the movie that they made because people were like, are you fucking serious? Like, we need more and we'll put our fucking own dollars on it because we want to see this get made. And also, gotta be honest, 2 solid movies to follow like a canceled season because I was like, I loved Serenity.
Serenity was so good.
So good.
Yeah.
And honestly,
and River Tam is hot.
Serious. But so is what's her name? Marina, the girl with she cut her hair short for V.
Oh, yeah. She's the one that played the like Nathan Fillion's like
kind of
will they won't they?
Yeah. She was like a sex worker. So she had like her own what is her name?
Marina Bakarian.
That's right. Yep.
Yeah.
Marina Bakarian. Yeah.
Yeah, she's freaking gorgeous.
So pretty.
I had the biggest crush on Nathan Fillion. But I also, my guy from that show was Dude Face, who's in the show with Sarah. Hi.
Oh, yeah.
Love him. Tudyk. Alan Tudyk.
Yeah.
Oh, Tudyk.
He's cute.
Making another reappearance on the show.
I had the biggest crush on him.
He's
also,
cute.
Funny side story because he was on the Zoom call for our friend's wedding because they're in that show together.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and I was like, do you think he sees me?
We're almost in the same room.
Pushing Chris further and further away.
Out of the frame. Get out of here. You're ramming my style.
Well, sci-fi crushes.
Oh yeah. Okay.
All right.
Ooh. So fuck, marry, kill.
Yeah, we have not done Alan Tudyk.
He's
We
on
have
the
not.
list for sure. I'll definitely.
You know who? Okay, so are we doing the characters or are we doing the actors?
Oh, I think character. I don't know.
That's a great question. I think
Character's good.
character.
Yeah,
okay.
His
Wash,
character in Firefly. is-
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
I love his character.
Oh,
He's
yes.
my favorite.
Yes. Okay.
Ooh, that changes my.
Thoughts, huh?
Yeah.
I am gonna. We talked. Oh no, did we? No.
You know Tennant's who? Did you watch Doctor Who? I never did. I know he's very popular.
Yeah, I love David Tennant.
Yeah.
And I did watch like one season that he was in. I keep thinking that I should be a Doctor Who fan.
Right?
I absolutely
It's
should.
too much.
It's a lot. It's a lot. If you're diving in, I'm like, I don't even know where to start.
I started at season 1 and I couldn't
That's
do
the
it.
problem. It's too prolific.
So I think maybe I needed to start with like the David Tennant season.
Yeah.
Like maybe I needed to start later on.
Is so fine. And you know what? He is actually
He's just your type for
yeah.
sure.
he was in Good Omens with Michael Sheen.
Oh yeah.
Which is
Who I
also
love.
fucking
Yeah.
fantastic. That's not quite sci-fi, maybe more fantasy.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I think it falls.
We'll go with Doctor Who, David Tennant.
Okay.
Okay.
You know who I'm gonna pick? I'm gonna pick Lando Calrissian.
Oh.
The original.
The
Yeah.
OG.
Billie Jean Williams.
Okay.
Yeah. OG 1970s mustache.
Cannot say
With a cape.
Han Solo correctly, so it's Han Solo. Yes.
Yes. Oh, yes.
Yes.
I thought he was, Little Me thought he was so hot. I was like, I just want to
Oh,
live
shit.
in that like castle in the clouds with Lando Calrissian.
I
was like,
love
I love
loved
this for
it.
you.
I loved
I
it.
love this.
And then it only got better whenever in Solo, it was Donald fucking Glover played
Yes.
young Lando.
Listen, that
Get outta here.
Hard underrated that
Oh,
movie. Hard underrated.
agree. I really enjoyed
really
it.
liked it, and I love Donald Glover, and I thought he was phenomenal in that character.
I thought the romance didn't need to be there between him and Chick Face from
Are you
Game
just
of Thrones.
jealous though?
maybe.
No, because it wasn't Lando's romance.
Oh, okay.
I don't care what Han does.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So, what's Alan Tudyk's name in Firefly?
Wash.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
It's like Washburn or something is like full name.
Cool.
His marriage.
That's so good. Love.
Love.
That connection on. Oh, they were so cute.
I mean, I know what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to marry
have to
Wash.
fucking marry
He
Wash.
is literally the show is just how fucking awesome of a husband. Well, sometimes
Kind
he's
of.
a little insecure. He gets a little insecure about her relationship. I might be
little
changing my
bit.
mind.
Okay.
He gets insecure about her friendship with Nathan Fillion.
I think what he does is that he isn't insecure about their relationship. He's insecure about the direction that the captain wants to take them in all the time.
Right.
And I think that he's like, you just blindly follow this guy. And I want to make sure that you're making a decision for the good
Okay.
of us.
Okay.
Not that you're just being like, okay, I'll blindly follow you into any battle. And I think that's the thing.
Okay.
Because, and I'm
I think I'm going to marry him because
Yeah.
they do. They talk as I
he'd
know.
sacrifice his own life.
Okay, spoiler alert. Well, I mean, it's been out long enough. If you haven't
Honey,
seen it,
honestly, if you have,
if you haven't seen Star Wars,
Yeah. Sorry. Like it's
spoilers ahead.
as a 40-year-old franchise.
Yeah.
exactly. And then I'm gonna fuck Doctor Who. I'm gonna
Yeah.
go in different dimensions and stuff. And then there's something about the fact that as far as I know, and correct me if I'm wrong, people that actually watch Doctor Who, I have a very weird thing where if people have that chemistry, that will they, won't they, and they don't get together, it makes me like crazy. It constantly gets in my head.
physically.
Like when I was young, I used to be obsessed with the fact that Peter Pan didn't get with Wendy.
Yeah.
And it made me angry.
You're like, where is my
why?
happy ending, bitch?
And it's tie this bitch up in a bow. and
Yeah.
put it
exactly.
away.
Get it together. So there is a little bit, I think, of that in me for David Tennant's Doctor Who, is that I'm like, I want to see Doctor Who have sex. I want a sex scene.
Yeah. I too
You're like,
would like
you're
that.
currently writing a like.
Doctor Who fan fiction
Fanfic.
that's going to be 50 Shades of
You
Grey.
know it's all over the internet. There's
There's got
there are like what app?
I am going to look that up as soon as we take
Yeah.
a break. I'm going to be like Doctor Who fan fiction.
50 Shades. 50 Shades of who?
Oh, it exists, and there are probably detailed colored pencil drawings.
Oh, totally.
You know it.
Oh my gosh.
They all have real big eyes.
But Lando's kind of like
Yeah.
rich though.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
not a Cloud
okay,
City.
here's the thing. Here's
Okay.
what I'm gonna do.
All right.
I'm gonna marry Wash. I just feel like it's the right move, you know? I'm gonna fuck Lando. I'm gonna fuck Lando. Lando is a
In the
fuck boy.
clouds.
He is a fuck man.
He's a
okay?
little devious.
Yeah, like you can't trust that motherfucker.
No,
He will turn on you on a dime.
not.
I mean, he'll come back around later, right?
Maybe,
like,
yeah.
He'll betray you, save you, whatever.
Lando Calrissian's the kind of guy that has that circle bed.
Yes, he does. Yes, he
Oh,
does.
man.
He definitely has that.
He's playing like Luther Vandross.
He's playing whatever the like.
He's got a pillow, a red satin pillow with.
But he is the kind of guy who like. I feel this way about Donald Glover and his interpretation of Lando Calrissian too. Like he is the kind of guy that I feel like if he turned his attention on to you, it's fucking
Spotlight.
done. Like
Yeah.
it's done, and there would be there's no resisting that kind of charm. There just is not.
Yeah.
So you're gonna have like it's gonna be sexy.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a sexy evening.
Yeah.
And then you leave and you do not call. In fact, don't even get his number. Do not even get his number because you will be tempted to text him later.
And he's not going to respond.
No.
He's going to leave you on red.
He's
Or
gonna
he's
leave
gonna be
you
like,
on
"Who
red.
dis?"
Yeah, he's gonna leave you on red. 100%.
Doctor Who and David Tennant remind me of this kid named Chad in sixth grade with me.
Oh.
Who was so awkward that I like made him be my boyfriend.
Oh my
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. No,
Where-
see, yeah, 100%. Because
Where it's just like I feel like I would have to initiate, and I would be the aggressive one in that.
yeah.
my track record is far more David Tennant, Doctor Who, than it is Lando Calrissian.
I think it's for all of us.
100%. Okay. And I'm not, I do think like David Tennant, Doctor Who would have that like skinny guy strength.
Yeah.
That's going to surprise you.
You're
in
like,
bed.
oh, shit.
Yeah. Yeah. Like that's going to surprise you. He's going to do some weird shit. He's going to roll you over. It's going to be good.
Oh, oh.
Right. Like
Yeah.
I really do think it would be good. I just, look, man, if I'm in a room with him and Lando Calrissian and Lando Calrissian is paying attention to me, I'm sorry, I'm not paying attention to Doctor Who
Honey,
anymore.
yes.
I can't.
I don't even know who you are.
So
There was another guy in the
Doctor
room. I
Who?
didn't.
yeah. Oh no.
Sorry. Amazing. Exactly. But exactly.
Oh God.
Okay. So, all right. Marrying Wash. It's the only option.
Yeah.
Because he's perfection. Okay. So this is the trickiest part though, because I am with you 100%. Like if he turned on that spotlight,
Yeah.
I am. Yes.
What are we gonna do?
You would
Yeah.
have the nicest dinner.
Oh yeah.
Just
the best
wine
wine.
and dine.
The problem I find with this is that I do find that he is going to sex me down in a very love-making manner, in which
yeah.
that he is going to turn on jazz music, which we know I do not
Yeah,
like.
no.
He is going to.
Yeah, it's
I feel like it's not going to turn into a night I love.
Yeah.
I don't think either are going to, because I don't see the Doctor Who.
Oh, he's not going to turn on jazz music. That's not him. It's going to be awkward.
But I do think that he would let you be the boss. I don't think Lando would let you be the boss
No.
in bed, but Doctor Who would let you take the reins and do what you got to do. You know?
That's true.
I think that's what I'm going to go with.
Yeah.
And I don't have a problem being in charge or not in charge in the bedroom. I will switch hit when it comes to that. It's fine. with
I
me on
want
either
Lando
way,
to take the reins. You take those reins.
I do love somebody who can take the reins, but I don't want you to take the reins.
You don't want any Barry White happening. Yeah, I hear you. I hear you.
It feels very.
There's gonna be rose petals involved, and that's not for you.
No. He's gonna want me to crawl across the bed. He'll be like, ask me to do it, and I'll be like, okay, this is sexy. Please, let's get this over with. I hate it. Yep. No, Dr. Tennant or Dr. Tennant. Doctor Who, David Tennant is who I'm going to fuck. And I, sadly.
You got to get him before he gets you. I understand.
Yeah, you do.
Because he might get you, Lando. You don't know.
Listen, I feel
Wild
like he might
card.
retaliate if I say no, so got to do it. I don't love that.
Oh my gosh. Well, we gotta do come back to sci-fi. I feel like
there's a lot of good sci-fi
untapped potential.
Mm-hmm.
Good
let us know what your
marketplace.
favorites are. If you have let us know what your sci-fi crushes are. Maybe we can incorporate them into a future FMK.
Yeah. Well, you guys want to take 5 and we'll come back with stories?
Sounds
Yes.
good.
And we're back. All right, Christina, kick us off.
All right. Mine comes from Reddit. She says, I went on a date to Red Lobster. I was about 16, and it was with my friend's pot dealer, who I met for about 15 seconds and said he was cute.
Oh, yeah.
great.
That sounds exactly right.
The most relatable
Oh,
first
we've all
sentence.
been there. Oh, yeah.
I'm there.
Red
Already
Lobster, 15, pot dealer. You said he was cute once. Yes.
Yeah.
His name's Dustin.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. Well, turns out this guy was 25
No.
and had a 5-year-old daughter.
Oh.
I'm sorry. That's 1/3 of your life. 15.
Yeah. Are you ready to be a mama? I knew his age, but of course at the time, I just thought I was mature for my age.
That's right.
Oh, but he didn't think that.
Nope. I didn't find out about the daughter until the end of the date. He picked me up at my house and took me to Red Lobster, about 20 miles away. I did not drive, nor did I have a valid license.
Because you're 15.
Yeah.
My friend essentially set me up on the date of my life. When I got into the car, he handed me a rolled blunt and said, light it.
No.
And when I went to pass it to him, he said, oh, he doesn't smoke. He just loves the smell.
What?
Weird thing number 1. I smoked it, got super high. Then we went to Red Lobster. Also sounds fucking phenomenal, actually. If
Being high at Red Lobster. You get some of those Cheddar Bay biscuits.
but
I'll have the Admiral's Feast, please. Honey, you're 100 pounds.
while on the way inside, he kept saying, I can have whatever I want.
Ooh.
He's got me.
Ow.
Which is like, I would hope so, especially since I was under the impression we were just getting ice cream. While waiting to be served our food, he kept telling me that it doesn't matter what I want. He got me. Just a peculiar number of times to the point I can't forget the voice he used to say it.
That's so weird.
Wait, what if he didn't and she's just so high?
Yeah, he's just like,
She's like, I get it. And he's like, what?
Get what?
Imagine someone trying to be flirty and pitching down their voice and repetitively saying, anything you want, I got you.
Oh.
But again, it wasn't that way. He was just like, hey, anything you want, I got you. Don't worry. And she's like, anything you want, I got you.
She's like,
I got you. Whoa. Why do you keep saying it like that?
oh my God. Keep in mind, I have now met the man for about an hour. I don't know him at all. And I'm a 15-year-old girl. I go to the bathroom to text my friend because it was just weird vibes the whole time. So we get back to his car after dinner. Honda CRV. If you know, you know. I don't know.
I mean, I have one. Yeah. I had one.
Yeah, I mean, I
I
know
think they're good cars.
what
great.
they're
It's a nice
like.
car.
Yeah.
And he hands me a bouquet of flowers. By this time, I felt so bad eating on his dime and taking these flowers because I wasn't into him at all. And this was one of my first real dates. Upon entering his vehicle, I see a photo of a little girl and immediately blurt out, who is that? He then tells me it's his 5-year-old daughter. And so I go, oh, that's cool. Had no idea you had a kid. And he tried to play it off like he for sure told me that, which he might have.
Yeah.
Again, she's
100% did. She was high. He's like, I literally talked about her the whole week.
The entire dinner. I showed you pictures from my wallet. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Moving forward, he tells me he needs to stop at his apartment. Now I'm like, oh, do you think you can stop me home first? He declined and said his house was around the corner. So I
God,
went.
red fucking flags.
I know.
Like, look, okay, we'll discuss
15.
it after this.
So I went and he asked me to come up. I was like, well, you just have to run in really quickly, right? I'll just stay here and wait. He insisted I come up with him and see his place.
Nope.
By this point, I was getting ready to dial 911, thinking the worst. He tells me again that he's got me. I just wanted...
What does that mean?
I just waited silently by the front door while he shuffled around his house. Then he was ready to go back to his car after 5 minutes of frantically searching around. We get back to the car, and he is on the way back to my house, then hands me a tinfoil thing. I open it up, and it's weed.
No.
To this day, I feel bad about not having a connection, but several items in those stories should explain why maybe it was better off this way.
100% it was better off this way, ma'am. Like, it's so frustrating for me because all of us, I feel like most women have had situations like this where we're young and we're getting attention from somebody who's older.
Yep.
And we feel flattered by that. And it's not at all our fault that we feel like
And
that.
we are not mature.
We are
No
not
matter
mature,
how
and
much-
they know that.
Yeah.
And that is why they have sought us out, is because we appear to be someone who can be easily manipulated.
That's right.
Yeah.
Right. So I fucking just hate guys like this. Like,
Oh, yeah.
Just
It seems like, though,
Predatory behavior.
It gives me hope because this seems like maybe the younger generation kind of knows these tricks
Good.
and red flags.
I
you
hope
know?
so. I
I'm
really
hoping.
hope so. But yeah, I mean, if you are a younger listener to us, if you are 15, like, it's not flattering that a 25-year-old wants to take you on a date.
Yeah.
You're
it's not.
a child.
Yeah.
You know, and I mean that with all the love. I know you don't
Yeah.
feel like a child, because I definitely didn't feel like a child at 15. And you are a young adult, but you're
But
not an
yeah.
adult.
Yeah, exactly.
There's a lot that happens between 15 and 25, you know. So,
In that guy's case, a 5-year-old daughter.
yes. So you were 10 when he had his kid. Okay. Anyway. Okay. Back in college, I had been dating a guy for a couple of weeks when my birthday came around. He said he wanted to do something nice, so the day of, I got all dolled up and waited. He comes to pick me up. I'm in heels, a nice dress, looking good. He's in a baggy sweater and ill-fitting jeans. He then drives me an hour and a half away to his home city. An hour and a half.
No. It's too far.
Once we finally get there, he takes me to a rundown mall and asks if I like cookies. I
my
told him
God.
I don't. And he said, well, that's a shame because the store in there makes the best cookies.
God
He
bless
then
America.
insisted that we go in the mall for a second so he could at least grab a cookie for himself.
Okay.
It's her birthday.
It's her birthday.
Right?
Uh-huh.
Oh, my God.
Okay.
After that, I was really hungry because I hadn't eaten anything. He said we'd go eat, but first he had to stop by his parents' house.
Oh my God.
Cue me meeting his dad, only dating 2 weeks, remember, and casually at that, and finding out we had to wait an hour so I could meet his mom.
No. No, that's not necessary.
Did I mention I have a strange anxiety connected to meeting any significant other's parents? That's very normal.
That's not a strange
Yeah, that's
anxiety.
strange.
That's
Yep.
Yeah, that's
We all have it.
completely normal.
Especially if you weren't expecting it. You're not prepared.
That's no.
Especially if you don't know the significant other yet.
Yeah.
It's not even a real significant other. It's like just strangers.
Yep.
Bunch of strangers.
Oh man.
While waiting for his mom, we all ended up awkwardly watching the Discovery Channel in the den. She finally gets home, apologizes for being late, says hi to me, and then says, okay, ready to go?
No.
Turns out my date's parents usually bought him dinner once a week, so he thought he'd just combine the two. My birthday dinner and his parents' dinner, so he wouldn't have to pay.
Wow.
Oh, we
What?
we all get into his parents' car and they take us to the fine establishment known as Applebee's.
Oh no. Oh no.
Half price apps.
Yes.
By this point, I'm pretty pissed, but I play nice for the folks. Finally, we get back to his parents' house and I'm beyond ready for him to take me home.
Amen.
That's when his dad says there's too much fog on the road and he doesn't feel safe with us driving an hour and a half away in the fog at night. He insists we spend the night, but we have to sleep in separate rooms because it was a Christian household.
This is not just like a worst date. This is the worst birthday
Ever.
Ever.
And you know what? This is also a really good story starter if you're trying to make a horror film.
Oh, yeah.
The family.
Creepy parents.
Oh man.
Oh, man.
The family.
I bite the bullet, try to hold back tears, sleep it off, and the next day he brought me home. Worst birthday date ever.
Yep.
Unfortunately, I'm an idiot and allowed him to have a second chance at it a few weeks later. Birthday date 2 wasn't much better, but that's another story.
Oh,
no.
God. I gotta hear the
I
sequel.
want to know, part 2.
Electric Boogaloo.
Right, exactly. Date 2. Electric birthday boogaloo. All right. All right. This is a fairly long one, but I like it. I like it because you guys will love to cringe along.
Oh,
Nice.
Because this is very relatable content. A guy asked if I wanted to do Korean food and karaoke for our second date. Perfect.
I love it.
I love both. He picked the spots. He was 45 minutes late, but I put our names in and he arrived to the restaurant around the same time our table was being called, so no biggie. He complained that he couldn't eat much on the menu because he's vegetarian and that they didn't serve alcohol. I mean, that sucks, but you picked the place. He kept lamenting that another place close by has vegetarian options and we should have gone there.
okay.
Then what?
Why didn't you pick that place?
Yeah. When the food came, it became apparent that he did not know how to use chopsticks, but also was too proud to take a fork.
That's where you get just get a fork.
Take the
It
fork.
doesn't matter.
Take the L. It's all
Yeah,
right.
exactly.
You don't. What do you have to prove?
Yeah.
It's fine. So he visibly struggled to eat. The old couple
That's
next
so much
to us.
worse. That's so much worse. Like,
much worse.
not knowing how to use chopsticks is so much worse than just using a fork.
Just struggling on a date. I mean, the old couple next to us even tried to give him pointers because he was having such a hard time. I was feeling really awkward at this point. Dinner felt like a disaster. I was looking forward to going to karaoke bar and getting some drinks while laughing at drunk people singing. At least it would offer some distraction. We started talking about what songs we like to sing for karaoke. And I said something like, I like to pick songs that get the crowd excited and singing along. And he goes, oh, you like to do karaoke in front of a crowd? I could never do that. Mm-hmm. And then it dawned on me. He was planning to take me to a private room karaoke. Just me and this virtual stranger.
No. Like, that's so awkward. Like, we love a Kodebang situation in this group, right? Like, we love the Korean karaoke rooms that you can rent with your friends. We've done it many times.
A group.
With a group. Imagine.
No.
Just two people.
Just me and this virtual stranger taking turns serenading each other.
There's a disco ball. Like,
from a vinyl couch.
Everything's like purple.
Oh,
no. Oh, no.
I was mortified. I would rather sing in front of 10,000 people than just one.
Yes, it's so awkward.
Awful. I'd like to say that I noped out of this date then, but of course not. I followed him around 3 different karaoke places as he tried to find one that would give up a private room for 2 people on a Saturday night. Hint, they won't because that's absurd.
Yeah, no,
They're not going to make money.
Those ahead of time.
And they're not going to make money on 2 people.
Right.
Finally, he gave up and asked if I wanted to drink at a bar. I should have said no, but I had some misguided faith it might get better. He told me about a cool bar he knew nearby. It sounds like he doesn't actually know anything about where he's at.
Yeah.
Because he's already failed a few times.
I think it's your turn to pick, actually. I'm like, you get to decide what you do now.
Yeah, right. We walked over and it turned out to be the same place we went for our first date. I drank 1 drink and then told him I had to walk my dog and left. A few days later, he texted me to tell me he was sorry, but also that he wanted to be clear that he wasn't looking for a girlfriend. Just someone to take to dinner and sleep with. And I was like, okay, no thanks. And that was the end. I mean, cool, but say that up front. And also, you're a terrible dinner date.
Yeah.
Like he's
like, I'm working on my skills. I need a starter girlfriend, you know.
Oh my God, he needs a lot, like a trip advisor or something.
Right? Needs to read the Yelp reviews.
Something, just a little. Oh my gosh.
My brother-in-law died suddenly, and now my sister and her kids have to sell their home. That's why I told my husband we could not put off getting life insurance any longer. An agent offered us a 10-year, $500,000 policy for nearly $50 a month. Then we called SelectQuote. SelectQuote found us identical coverage for only $19 a month. a savings of $369 a year.
Whether you need a $500,000 policy or a $5 million policy, SelectQuote could save you more than 50% on term life insurance.
For your free quote, go to SelectQuote.com. SelectQuote.com. That's SelectQuote.com.
SelectQuote. We shop. You save. Full details on example policies at SelectQuote.com/commercials.
Okay. So, Tainted Love. I told you a little bit about them. Like, I'm really nervous about where I first heard this story. I knew it. Mm-hmm. And so when I decided to do it, it came up again when I was searching for some stuff. I was like, okay, I know this story super well. Why do I know it as well as I did? And I did a search. It's not on any of the podcasts that I listened to because I was convinced I had listened to it on a podcast, not on Dateline or anything like that. But I'm going to dive into this story anyways. I got the majority of my info from a Guardian article.
Love a good Guardian article.
Love a good Guardian article. A little bit from Daily Mail and Vice. And this one, it's not a super long story, but it's more about the conversation we're going to have because
I love that.
It's one of those. Okay, so this is going to be the story of Gayle Newland.
Oh, I did this one. I'm just kidding.
Oh my God.
I was like, oh,
I really, there are times when we do this podcast when I wish there was a camera in here because both Christina and I, the way we looked at Cassie just now.
Sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
I had like a heart attack. I was like, I checked. I swear to God, I checked. Okay. So we're going to start talking about Chloe, though. We're going to start the story with Chloe. Chloe's a pretty girl attending college, brought up in a Methodist family. Her dream was always to dance professionally on cruise ships, to travel, and to find a good husband. She had discovered a new confidence as a student at Chester University after ending a really bad abusive boyfriend relationship. So she got to college. She's like, I'm pursuing my dreams. Blah, blah, blah.
I love that her dream is so specific.
Yeah.
Like she's like, I want to sing or I want to dance on cruise ships specifically.
I had a dream one day that I wanted to be a hairdresser on a cruise ship.
You know,
this
it
is, of
could
course,
be
before
cool.
I got pregnant, but I was like, that's the dream job.
I knew
travel.
Yeah, I knew a woman who sang and she was, we went and saw like a show when we were on the cruise.
Oh, yeah.
And it looked cool. Like she was always posting on Instagram. Like they were all over. She was really close with her, castmates.
I think it'd be a fun thing to do in your early 20s.
Yeah,
totally. For
do
a
it
couple
for a
of
while.
years, you get to see a lot of the world. There is a camaraderie
Yeah.
for people that are on the boat and stuff together.
So much free food.
Yeah.
So much food.
Yeah.
Itty bitty living space.
Yes, true.
So, Chloe's living her dream. She's, doing the thing. And then somebody contacts her on Facebook, a man named Kai Fortune. Now, Kai's pictures, he looks like a handsome, athletic, half Filipino young man. And he wanted them to be friends. And so they start talking. They soon become close regarding each other as boyfriend and girlfriend.
Okay.
It's an online relationship. They just get each other. Like they both go to the university.
They
and
met
everything.
on Facebook?
And they met on Facebook.
Okay.
And they go to the same small university.
Correct.
And have not yet met.
Yep.
Okay.
Chloe's desperate to meet him. But for more than a year, he puts her off.
I'm sorry. It's not even like you live in different states or different countries. Like
cities
both
even
attend
the same college. How is that fucking possible?
It's not.
Right. So
this is some fake news if I ever heard it.
he refuses because he said he had been in a disfiguring car accident, that he had a heart condition, and that he's seriously ill with cancer.
Fake.
Chloe.
Fake. That's a lot.
I mean, that's a
lot. A debilitating car accident.
Yes, 1.
Cancer.
2.
I'm sorry.
Heart condition?
3. Yep. There you go.
Okay.
Okay.
Wow. All right. I'm up to speed.
So Chloe believes him. is totally understanding.
Chloe,
However,
honey,
Angel,
where are your friends?
I know.
Where are your girlfriends? We would never let this happen.
Never.
We would
For
never.
a year.
No. Sis.
Not even a month.
No.
You got FBI on that shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
But Kai compromised and introduced her online to one of his best friends, Gayle Newland.
No, Gayle.
You stop it right now.
After the two women met, they found they had a lot in common.
Interesting.
They would go to concerts together. They watched movies. They played netball. They just hung out. They both went to the same college.
Wow, it sounds like Gayle knows a lot about her too.
Yeah, the thing that she liked the most about Gayle, Chloe said, was that Kai trusted her totally. So, Chloe says more than a year passed before Kai finally agrees to meet her.
I got no time for this fucking shit. I hate it.
I'm so mad. I'm so mad already.
Just wait. So more than a year passes and Kai is like, okay, we're going to meet at a hotel in Chester. So here, there are strict rules that had to be adhered to. Okay. He's so anxious about his appearance that she would have to wear a blindfold.
I remember this. Yep.
And
I remember this too.
could not touch him because of his injuries. He said his chest was bandaged because of a nozzle attached to his heart, and he had to wear a compression-style suit to regulate his heartbeat. She accepts these strange conditions because she loved him.
Oh, my God.
He bought her an eternity ring, and she told everyone they were getting married.
I'm going to marry someone I haven't met.
No. And every time...
Never seen in person.
You guys, they hung out together multiple times. And every time she had to be blindfolded with her hands tied behind her back.
So we did talk about this on this case on the podcast early on. Like early on, briefly. We never did the deep dive.
We never did the deep dive. Okay, because
But
I was like, I know this fucking case.
Yeah, because we brought it up when it happened, and we were like, pardon?
Pardonnez-moi?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah, so
I
eventually...
forgot about this.
Eventually, Chloe gets suspicious. On the final occasion, they had sex because they had sex 15 times. So keep this in mind. 15 times.
In his body compression outfit.
She grabbed for the back of his head and her hand got caught on something. It was hair. And she always thought Kai's hair was short, but she felt hair on her. So she ripped off her blindfold and Gayle is standing there with a pink strap on. So Chloe is fucking like super upset.
Yes.
You think?
Yeah.
And here's where the discussion comes in.
Yeah.
Yes, we have made light of the fact that there were a gagillion red flags.
Yeah.
And it makes me sad
Many
that
signs.
whatever relationship she was in before, or like that she doesn't have friends, to have taken her by the shoulders and said, baby angel, like,
This ain't it.
Sweetie
this
pie.
ain't
Yeah.
it. You do not have to wear a blindfold.
No.
And have your arms tied behind your back every time you hang out with your internet boyfriend. Like, that's not how the world works. You shouldn't do that.
Right.
For any of our younger listeners, I hope that we've made that clear, that is a red flag.
How did Kai speak to her without her realizing this isn't Gayle's voice?
Correct. And this is all things that are valid questions that, like, attorneys are like, even if you are blindfolded, you've hung out with Gayle.
Right.
And you're now best friends. She didn't alter her voice.
So
You know, her voice, her smell, like...
No,
Well,
it
but
still
did-
sounds like
but
you. I'm
did they
covering my eyes, and I can still recognize both your voices.
And she wasn't a virgin, okay? So Chloe was not a virgin. This is not a realistic dildo that was being used. It is a very rubbery, large, pink strap-on. It's kind of hard, too. So it's not like a real penis.
Right, the feel.
Yeah. A lot of questions. However, this is
You don't just
Chloe's-
get to lie to somebody, though.
You don't.
Like, you don't.
You don't. But what people are saying, because it did go to trial. Gayle's story was that they had met at an LGBTQ bar on campus, and they're both in the closet as lesbians.
Okay.
And they talked about it, and they connected on the fact that they were both in the closet. And that Gayle, who has been playing Kai Fortune online since she was 13, mentioned that that's how she was dealing with it. And so for them to experiment with having sex, they brought Kai into it. But Gayle's the whole time is saying Chloe knew this. This was a way of making her comfortable with being a lesbian.
Sounds more like a believable
It
story.
actually does.
This actually sounds more believable.
It does.
Convoluted, but believable.
Right. And I mean, being in the closet will make you do like a lot of, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like she was raised in a
Pressure.
Methodist family.
Sure.
There was pressure, like all this stuff. So what happened, why it went to trial, is because there's CCTV footage of both the girls running out of the apartment and getting into a big fight. Not a physical one, but like arguing.
Yeah.
And then there are texts that Chloe sent Gayle saying like, how could you do this to me? Like, you've raped me, like all this other stuff. And then Gayle emails her like reasons I did what I did. However, when you go through, but she never admits to, like in the email, she's never like, I was pretending to be Kai. It's not like that, which is the reason why like her version can make sense.
Sure.
And so can Chloe's, even though you're like, sweetie baby angel, like.
Yeah, but we've also heard enough stories, like enough Tainted Love stories where people have bought some really ridiculous shit before.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's a whole show called Catfish where you're like, how? You know, how?
Yeah.
So it seems completely ridiculous to us, but it's not impossible.
Sure.
Yeah. So after that fight and the texting back and forth, Gayle actually jumped off a bridge. She tried to commit suicide. She ended up only breaking her leg, but when police got to the scene, she's like, I had a falling out with a friend and I've done something that I don't think that she can forgive. So all of this stuff is used against her in trial. Gayle goes to trial. Now, there are a lot of LGBTQ and people that are very concerned about this.
Sure.
Because you can lie,
of course,
to get somebody to sleep with you. You know, somebody can tell you that they're not married, that they're single.
Sure.
That's not a crime. You're not going to go to jail for it.
Yeah, but you can't. You can't think you're having sex with one person and it's a different person.
And that's I've done that before. I've thought I've been having sex with somebody that was like a single person that had this kind of job, that blah blah blah, and that was not the person that they were. The only time that it gets prosecuted is when it's a lie about gender.
Yep.
Okay.
And she got sentenced to 8 years, which is actually longer and is on the sex offender registry for life, which is longer than a case that came like right before her. There was a guy that raped 4 13-year-old girls that got less time, significantly less time.
Well, we know
that's
that
the thing that
we know that
pisses
our
you off.
justice system is not just. We know that it is not.
Not even a
it's
little
not equal at all. You know.
Now, what they ended up getting her, they charged her with the 3 charges of sexual assault, pretty much. And what it seems to be, their argument was that Chloe agreed to be penetrated by a penis, and she was penetrated by a dildo. And so, therefore, that's a crime. But then there's trans people who are like, well, this has scary implications for us.
Yes.
Like, is my surgically constructed penis going to get me in trouble sometimes, like legally? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like if someone doesn't know that you're a trans man and then finds out and then say, you lied to me, I thought I was getting a quote unquote real penis and you penetrated me with your surgically constructed one. Does that mean that person goes to jail?
Because of rape? Yeah. God, this is
Isn't
awful.
that so
It's
complicated?
terrible.
I hate this.
It's like going back and forth because I'm like, if Chloe's story is 100% true, then I understand why
and
she's
you would feel
upset and
violated. You would feel violated,
and lied to,
and that's valid.
Yeah. So I was just like, oh my gosh.
Do you see though where it's like, does the punishment fit the crime scenario? Like, are we even looking at
that too?
Oof.
Yeah.
Or I don't know. I mean, like, this is because I agree. I think that it's a slippery slope. I think that this it could have very scary implications and ramifications down the line, like, which is concerning. Certainly, if Chloe's story is 100% true, I would feel extremely violated by that situation.
I would consider that person like raped me, you know, and would want them to be prosecuted.
Yeah.
But also, like, reading between the two stories, I do think that there's somewhat of a little bit of truth in the middle.
Something in the middle.
Yeah, there's something in the
That's
middle.
what I was
in the
thinking
middle.
as well.
Because both stories are so on, like, opposite ends. And there's just part of me, I'm like, I cannot believe that even blindfolded, I would still know your voice, Cassie. I would know Keegan's. I know all of our friend group.
And if you've had sex before... I mean, maybe she was very inexperienced. I don't know. Your brain, you can convince yourself of all kinds of things if you want to believe something too. Yeah. So, but if you've had sex before...
A dildo feels very different from a penis.
Yeah.
It really does.
Yeah.
Very different.
Yeah.
Unless, I don't know. Unless maybe at some point, and I didn't see any of this, if some point, like, she was like, oh, yeah, I injured myself in the debilitating car accident, and so they had to reconstruct my. If there was some kind
I would
of
think that
explanation
she
for
probably
it.
would have brought that up.
I think if she's willing to disassociate the voice connection, like maybe she's also a disassociating the other aspects.
Well, and
I don't
also
know.
they brought it in as an exhibit for the trial, and every single article specifically mentions the strong rubber smell. That you could smell it, like the jury could smell that it was rubber.
Wow.
Like it's like a very cheap pink rubber.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah. So she did get 8 years. That was that was appealed, and she actually just went back to trial like in 2018, and they went through the whole thing again. And I do feel bad because, like, Chloe on the stand at one point breaks down, and she's like, you guys think this is so hysterical, but this is my life, you know. And she does get found guilty again, which now she only has 6 years instead of 8, and she is still on the sex registry.
This is such a tricky case because in general, I tend to believe women who come forward with stories like this because why would she put herself through this? Like, why would Chloe put herself through this?
Right.
Absolutely.
If it wasn't something that she really genuinely felt she was violated.
Yeah.
You know, like, so it...
Yeah, because and there are a lot of people. There's a lot of, like, there's a Facebook page in support of Gayle and stuff like that too. So there, I think the UK is concerned because in a world where sexuality is increasingly fluid, there have been a number of what they're calling gender fraud cases lately. So, like, there's 20-year-old Gemma Barker was convicted of sexual assault. Justine McNally convicted of 6 charges of sexual assault while masquerading as a man.
Masquerading as a man feels very problematic
terminology.
Yep. To me.
Christine Wilson, who has been diagnosed with gender identity disorder, was placed on the sex offenders registry after pleading guilty to sexual relationships with 2 girls while disguised as a man, in quotes.
Gender's a construct. Okay.
Yeah. Oh,
and
my
listen,
God.
I do believe in being upfront about who you are, just in general. We've always said that on this podcast. Like, so in that respect, I'm like, yeah, you should just be upfront with who you are. However, these are all extremely offensive terms. Like, it's very offensive to say things like
disguised as, masquerading as.
Yes, absolutely.
Wow.
And these are all all of these that I'm talking about too, these are all young people, early 20s,
Wow.
if even 20. So as we know, you're still trying to find out who you
you
are,
are. Yeah.
and everything like that. So
Well, and
the
gender
idea
is
that
fluid. That's why we're moving in this direction as a society, because gender is a social construct, strictly a social construct. Like, you can talk about biological sex,
Yeah.
if you want to, but the concept of gender,
Right.
is not, it's not scientific. You know what I
Right.
mean? And it is a spectrum, and we've known that for a very long time.
Yeah.
And you can fall anywhere on that spectrum.
Right.
So
And that can change
Yeah.
too. It's allowed to change and flux and, you
Yeah.
know, all of that. So I'm like, you know, me having had sex with people who have definitely lied about a number of things
Yeah.
to get me into bed.
Sure.
I can't fucking prosecute them. They're not going to be on the sex offender list. You know, so in my head, this is a very complicated.
it is.
Yeah.
It's very complicated.
Because I can definitely see. But I think if I can't, I just don't see a sex offender list for the rest of her life, and 8 years in prison just is extreme to me. But
I don't know. I don't think that there's a right answer, especially since I don't know that we know the whole truth of it either. You know, because again, I do think there's probably a little bit of truth there in both of their stories, but
and this is the other thing too, is after going through the trial and everything, their standards are the same as ours, in that a case has to be proven beyond a reasonable doubt.
Right.
And I gotta say, like, I reasonably doubt Chloe's story.
Yeah. 100%.
And I reasonably doubt Gayle's too.
Sure.
I feel like somebody, but convicting somebody and ending someone's life, basically, like their possibility of earning a future income and everything by having to be on the sex offender registry. But at the same time, it's just very
impossible.
complicated.
Yeah,
it's impossible.
It's very hard because again, you know, I tend to lean towards believing people who say that they've been sexually assaulted.
Yeah.
Because it's not like, you know, she's breaking down on the stand, she's saying this is my life, because it's not a fun experience to have to, as a quote unquote like good Methodist girl, right? Who was maybe stuck in, even if you were stuck in the closet, let's say we believe Gayle's story, right? Why would she put herself through like exposing all of this to her, like
exposing herself to ridicule and questioning,
you know,
and probably re-traumatizing her over and over again. Yeah.
So it's very hard. But on the other hand, we also live in a society and in a world that is very homophobic, that is very transphobic, that like I feel
it's
like
nuanced for sure. That's the thing.
and I feel like we've definitely seen it in our criminal justice system, where marginalized communities, whether that be races or sexual identity, orientation, gender identity, are prosecuted more harshly.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean,
and judged more harshly.
The fact that there was a case like right after that with like, I think that person ended up getting like 4 years and some months or whatever for that offense, to rape four 13-year-old
girls.
Yeah. And that person gets half of her sentence. And not to say like, it's just, I wanted to talk about it just because I'm like, where, you know, if you can't prosecute somebody for lying about the fact that they chose to prosecute her for lying about her gender, it just seems like,
meanwhile, how many stories have we seen where like these people, we've definitely told tainted love stories where, like, you know, men usually like they take how many women for everything they have. They take them for and they're like, well, can't really do anything. You know?
Yeah.
And like nothing happens to those people. So I just don't know. I mean, this is really tough. This is really tough. And I'm glad that I didn't have to
be on the jury or make that call. Or even like right now, there's just a broad conversation about the laws in the UK right now and whether or not there needs to be something and I'm
adjustments made. Yeah.
That's very, very tough. But that's why I wanted to bring it up, is because I thought it was it's a fascinating story, and B, there's just so much nuance to it. I just thought it would lend itself to an interesting conversation.
Definitely,
for
definitely. And I do want to say, because it's always touchy with subjects like this, we're not experts.
No, we are not.
This is just us. These are just our thoughts.
Thoughts and expressions.
Right. Exactly.
And also, these are our thoughts based on like the limited facts, that
little
I've
bit of stuff we have,
out. So we did not attend the trial. I did not watch it, and
you haven't read all the court documents or seen all of the evidence.
But yeah, I mean, I encourage you to think about it and write in and let us know, like, if I left something out, or if there's some sort of nuance that we didn't see. Please definitely write and reach out to me. I'm definitely always willing to listen, learn, and be a part of the...
Well, it's a continued conversation, right? I think that's the big picture here, is that we're not walking away from this with a solid answer on anything, because it is so complex, and there are so many things and facets that you must consider. And so, I think engaging this in a further conversation, it's important. It's important because our world is changing. Our views in the world are changing.
Anytime there's a culture shift, there's a learning curve. Of course,
absolutely.
And unfortunately, sometimes it's steep.
Yeah. Ooh, so
wow.
What are you guys watching this week to transfer out of the?
Well,
I'm not watching anything new right now, but I did listen to Keegan's recommendation of Algorithm.
I was going to say the same thing.
I was
I'm not watching anything, but I just binged all of the
entire show,
all of the available episodes of Algorithm.
And Keegan and I have been texting back and forth, because this guy's voice is... I knew from watched Mayor of Easttown, right?
Yeah.
It's murder.
Yeah, I knew from the moment he started talking, I was like, oh man, because he does do things like, instead of saying home, he's like home, that kind of voice,
and it's extended home.
Yeah, yes.
Murder.
But outside of that, he's actually a great researcher, good host.
Nice.
The show is so interesting. It is so fascinating. Some of it is pretty graphic. They do give trigger warnings, so just something to be aware of before going into it.
So good, though.
But if you are looking for a good true crime podcast, because I love those kind of like serialized true crime podcasts,
you're gonna love it.
And I haven't had one in a while. And I am really enjoying it. Yeah.
If you can get past his voice, the show is amazing.
Okay. Yeah.
But then I guess, since you were doing Algorithm, have you guys listened to Live and Die in LA, the current season?
No.
I listened to the past season, but not the current one.
The current season. Catch up.
Oh,
okay.
Interessante.
Oh, I love that podcast.
It's really good. This season's really good. And it's the... it's the same dude from last season, but there's somebody else helping, and the other person, so it's two couples that are working on it, and the other one is the dude from Incubus, guitar player from Incubus.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's really good. Well, and you don't have to worry about accents on that one.
Got it. Well, I am watching, or I did watch this week, the Bob Ross.
I cannot wait. And I see your face, because it's all I hear is how awful it is. I mean, like,
it made me furious.
Yeah.
Well, we all love Bob Ross.
I know.
That will not change.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
So it's not like he was like a closet like bad guy or anything. Bob Ross is a fucking saint, and I love him. And it's a good documentary. You know who did it? Melissa McCarthy and her husband.
Oh, God, I love them so fucking much.
Yeah, love them.
Yeah, so I definitely recommend that. And also, it made me want to find joy of painting again to like go to sleep to, because his
Soothing
fucking voice.
It's on Amazon.
The only white man with an afro that I trust. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where I'm like, this is right for you. You know?
We know
Like,
it's a perm, sir, but it's fine. All of our white dads, have had perms. My dad did for sure. My dad totally had a Bob Ross perm in the 70s.
Do you know what he called it when he had to go and get it touched up? He called it having his screws tightened.
I love him.
He's so cute.
I bless his heart.
Yeah,
I love him.
It's awesome. So I definitely recommend it.
I kind of have known about this for a while. Like, so the premise of the story is that he gets fucked over because there's this kind of socialite lady who finds his paintings and like kind of brings him. That's where he kind of gets the show. Everything comes from. But they want to tighten the screw. They fucking basically own him. And they own, and the family still fucking owns him. They own his legacy. They own all his paintings. They don't sell any of his artwork. Yep. Yeah, it's fucking awful. I mean, and I haven't seen. I'm excited to watch it,
dude. They're about to have so many pissed people because
they're furious.
Bob Ross, you don't fuck with Bob Ross. He is
Saint Bob.
Yeah, he is a national treasure.
He's one
an
of
icon.
the greats, you know, kind of like
100.
Mr. Rogers,
Yes.
LeVar Burton.
Yes.
It's just like, you know, it's something from our childhood
Oh my
that
God.
like made us better people.
Yes.
because they were just so
Pure.
great
Yeah.
and pure.
Yeah.
And so yeah, it is. It's a tragedy, and it's just
Awful.
wrong. It's
Yeah.
wrong. It's wrong what they're doing. It's wrong what they did.
And he has a son. So just FYI, listeners, he does have a son. A son and like a partner. I don't know exactly their relationship, but they do their own painting show, and they do things that are unrelated to Bob Ross specifically. But he paints. They teach classes. There are things that you can sign up for to actually support him and his projects and art. And that's, if anything, if you're ever interested in supporting the Ross family, that is the direction to go. Do
Thank
not
you.
fucking support these assholes who are selling Bob Ross's name on,
They
mugs
make
and t-shirts.
millions of dollars,
Yeah.
and they haven't paid a cent to his family.
Wow.
Awful.
Yeah.
It's
Well, I'm
awful.
furious. I don't know if I need to watch it. I'm pretty pissed right now. Like,
Yeah,
You
it's not
should,
great.
though. It's so great to see. It brought back so many memories because we used to watch so much fucking PBS as a
oh
child.
God, yeah. I didn't have
Shit.
cable
Constantly on.
for
Me either.
large parts of my childhood.
Yeah,
So
Joy of Painting was just like, and
Joy
he
of
was
painting,
so
like you
good.
said, Mr. Rogers. You said,
Reading Rainbow.
Are
yeah.
You Being Served?
Yes.
Reading Rainbow. I mean,
This Old House? Just
you
Bob
name it.
Vila.
Yes. Oh my God. Nova.
Dude, do you ever watch shows like that though? Like
Yeah.
Joy of Painting, This
Yeah.
Old House, that kind of thing, where people are so good at what they do, they make it look. Well, I could fucking do that if I wanted to.
I also
can't.
used to watch. I used to watch on PBS. That's where I would watch Martha Stewart Living too.
Yeah.
And same thing. She would just make she's like, so today, and she had a very calming voice as well. And she'd be like, today we're gonna make a 3-tier wedding cake, and she's just like calmly talking while she's doing it. And you're like, yeah, I could do that.
I could do that.
How hard could that be?
Yeah.
You can't.
It was like, must have been the beginnings of ASMR.
Yeah.
You know
Oh,
what I
yeah.
mean? Like PBS back in the day.
NPR
Very
voice.
soothing.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh, excuse me. That was lunch.
NPR.
Well, if you guys have something that we should watch, if you have stories that we need to read on here, if you just want to reach out and talk to us, go to our one-stop shop of a website. It's myworstatepodcast.com. And we love you so much.
Cheers.
This is a Glass Box Media Podcast.